Hello, I'm Connally,
And
and today we're talking about documenting your work. I'm going to be showing you how to document two-dimensional work.
I'm going to show you how to document three-dimensional work.
And something that we both agree on is when you document your work, you want to have enough space so that your work can kind of breathe and you can move your lights in and out.
You have to find a space without visual distractions.
This would be an example of a space that has too many distractions. It takes away from your artwork. So what we can do is we can try and go in and fix it up a little bit. That's good. Get that trash can out of there. Yeah, we don't need that. Something hanging on the wall there too. Maybe we could get rid of that. It's good. Just clean it up a little bit because we don't want anything to really draw the eye away from your artwork itself. You also want to avoid, if you can, light switches and outlets. Just have a nice, clean, clear backdrop. You can always use clamp lights if you don't have access to expensive studio lights. You can use clamp lights that you buy at Lowe's or Walmart for $5. And I'll show you the difference between working with one light and working with two. Right now we're working in a much larger, much clearer space where we are free of the distractions we had before. Here we're working with a clamp light if you don't have access to more expensive studio lights. So I just have one on right now, and as you can see, we're getting some really harsh shadows cast from the object, from the frame. So we want to try and introduce a second light from the other side and see if that helps sort of alleviate that really heavy shadow. You can move it around too and see if that helps. But the light, by and large, is still very, very harsh. And we're working with, these clamp lights have tungsten bulbs, and they have a really warm tone to them. So you want to make sure that you set your camera to the correct white balance to set it to tungsten bulbs. Tungsten bulbs typically have a really rich orangish yellow tone. Fluorescent lights have a greenish tone. Daylight has a blue cast. And your camera is essentially just cutting through that artificial color cast. So something that should look white reads as white in your image. Here we have working with higher quality studio lights, and these are daylight balanced, so they have a cleaner kind of cool LED blue tint to them. Good rule of thumb, if you're working with just one light, if you want something brighter or darker, then it's nice to have a space where you can actually just move it to light back and forth. If you need additional light, then we can bring in a second light we have set up and try it out. And these lights too that you can check out, they are adjustable, so we can try different intensities of the light. Now, if you only have one light, you don't have access to the second one, you can use a sheet of foam core or white paper to bounce light back onto your piece. So if you coat the sheet with tin foil too, it can be more reflective. A lot of times this can work really well. You may not need a second light to bounce a little bit more of a highlight onto your piece. And if it still seems a little too bright and you've already played around with your exposure, then we can introduce umbrella diffusers to the equation. We have umbrella diffusers here for checkout, and essentially you can use them in a couple different ways. Open them up and you can attach them to the front of the light and shoot through the diffuser. I'll show you how to do that. We can do that with our secondary light as well. You can either shoot through, turn the lights up a little bit more, or what you can do is you can bounce the light back. If it's too much light, you can bounce light back by flipping it around and just see what works better for your image. And these help to eliminate that really harsh shadow that you can get in your work. It's going to work better for me having this one.